2-minute warning.
You did not come here to make excuses. You did not come here to say that you cannot.
Yeah, but
Emergency services requested.
Where's your strength? Where's your power? Let's go. Get tough. When it gets tough, you get tough.
3, 2, 1, go.
The journey has just begun. Welcome to the CMC Civilian Military Combine.
Athletes report to the start.
Over 1,100 competitors have invaded Fort Hamilton in Brooklyn, New York to salute the troops and honor the fighting spirit in all of us. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your one and only Coach Payne. We are here at the Civilian Military Combine in Fort Hamilton. That's right, I am with my buddy, my good friend, and an amazing, dynamic, not an athlete, but a true champion, Amelia Boone. Amelia, today is race day, and I know you, of all people, this is something that you love and you breathe each and every day of your life. Why are you not competing today?
Unfortunately, coming back from injury, but that gives me an opportunity to hang out with you all and tell you a little bit about this course. So Civilian Military Combine is a little bit different than most races in that we have two elements. We've got the pit, which is high intensity functional fitness. And then once we get people's heart rates up, they're gonna take off on a 5-mile, 25 obstacle course race. And so the winner at the end is gonna be a combination of those two elements.
This course is extreme. It is a combination of obstacle racing and physical strength training all in one.
Let's take a look at the course here at Fort Hamilton. It covers almost 5 miles and is comprised of a combination of military-grade obstacles mixed with some making their debut at CMC. The course is designed to test the athletes, not defeat them.
Now, before the obstacle race begins, they have to meet me, yours truly, Coach Payne, in the pit. This is the cross-training portion, and it counts for half of your score.
With more on that, let's go to our reporter in the field, Ryan Mead.
welcome to the Civilian Military Combine. My name's Ryan Mead. Today, all this energy behind you, we're going to give you in a first-person perspective as we run the course and explain everything that's going on. So behind me, we have the pit. These guys are working to get every single rep they can in 5 minutes. 5 minutes isn't a lot of time, but every rep counts. So the rep count adds up to a score, and then they take their core score and add it together. So the average athlete has a really good shot today of winning this race. It's not the big, strong person, it's not the fast runner, it's the average athlete that makes the Civilian Military Combine the place to be for the best race.
We'll be checking back with Ryan from time to time while he's out on the course. Putting these athletes through the paces and acting as the pit boss is our own Coach Payne.
Welcome to the pit.
When you step into the pit or when you step into anything you do in life, the mind has to be prepared. It has to be willing and able to do what is necessary for the physical to do what it needs to do. The body is animated. It'll do whatever you tell it to do. You just got to believe in it.
The great thing about OCR is that anyone can do it. If you have the will, there is a way. We have competitors from all walks of life, from teachers to our oldest competitor, 70-year-old Tommy Hart. Our pre-race favorite is Alex Nicholas, an elite racer with a track record of success.
I'm very humbled to be one of the favorites today.
He may be honored to be the favorite, but it's something he's still getting used to.
I like to be the one chasing people, so I'd rather be, an underdog or someone who's an unknown.
Challenging Alex is 31-year-old Swedish OCR racer Johan Kajert, as well as New York native Patricio Romacci, who's hoping that Coach Payne can supply just the right push for him to succeed in the pit.
Payne, oh my God.
There's nothing that can stop you.
He's one of the best motivators that I've known.
If it didn't make you, it cannot break you.
It was so emotional, and it felt like he was talking to me.
If Coach Payne was in my face when I'm in that pit, I would be going as fast as humanly possible. You feed off that energy of the competitors around you, of the people in there, and like everyone working, struggling together, and that's what's so unique about this.
You know, when you're in the pit, it's like you're taking everything that you may have to go through or what you've been through in your life and utilizing the pit as a source of whatever it is may be. So many people in the pit have their own testimony, their own story to tell.
One of those stories is Chris Monza, who's proving that there's no such thing as a handicap.
I do a lot of different stuff: trail running, CrossFit, martial arts, different kinds of things. Being on the autism spectrum means I have to focus a lot harder, bring all my A game to any race or a competition, shut out any thoughts that are constantly racing inside my head. I have this kind of laser sight focus that allows me to work on anything I'm doing at the moment. I just focus on the task at hand, and that's a huge plus. The kind of feelings I have when I'm going through the race are, keep pushing, Chris, keep going, you got this, it's all you. Bring your warrior spirit, your A game.
It's all about to go down.
It's perseverance, integrity, courage, that kind of thing. The thing about OCR, it's really full functional fitness. It doesn't just target your cardiorespiratory system. It targets your muscular strength and endurance, it targets your flexibility, your body composition. It really forces you to do all the things that cavemen and ancient warriors did back in prehistoric times, like run, jump, climb, swim, all those kinds of things. I was never the most athletic kind of guy growing up in my childhood. I couldn't do one perfect push-up, could only dead hang for about a couple of seconds, couldn't even run about a quarter of a mile before I had to stop and breathe. Eventually I lost about 35 pounds, I'm now 190. I can do about 20 to 30 perfect push-ups, about 12 pull-ups, maybe even more. For me, it's for the people who are diagnosed on the autism spectrum, for people who are mentally or physically or emotionally disabled in a lot of ways, because a lot of these kids and adults growing up, they can't speak for themselves. They can't do a lot of the things that normal guys can do. And that really speaks to me.
I saw nothing but pure will and dedication in this young man.
So the pit is interesting because it's only 5 minutes long. And so you would think, oh, it's just 5 minutes, no big deal. But you're in there pushing and giving everything you can for such a short period of time. It just absolutely gasses you. Every single muscle burns, you can't breathe, your lungs are burning, and you can feel that clock ticking. And so I say that sometimes that 5 minutes feels longer than like a 2 or 3 hour race. Now that you have just tapped out and given everything you have 5 minutes to then transition and get ready to run this 5 mile obstacle race. And it's not just like you're going for like a 5 mile jog. You gotta climb up and over things, jump down off of things, you have to crawl under things. Like, it's very taxing. And so you're trying to regroup and recover as much as you can in that short window.
When we come back, the men will conduct their business.
And the women tackle the pit.
And even the Fort Hamilton base commander gets into that.
Welcome to the CMC Civilian Military Combine.
When I see the United States flag, to me it means pride. Pride in the country, pride in ourselves, pride in my fellow brothers and my fellow sisters I've served.
Welcome back to Fort Hamilton CMC Hybrid Obstacle Challenge.
The racers are ready to go. Let's get this race started.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go!
So the start of a race, I try to clear my head of any doubt. Every race I get butterflies for. Every time I come to the start line, I'm shaking. I hold it together. You wouldn't see it with me physically, and you won't see it on the outside, but every time I come to that start line, I'm nervous. And it's about controlling that emotion and bottling it up to basically become, an energy source throughout the entire race.
When I start the race, I pretty much block everything out. I just go into a happy place and just go have fun and just enjoy the whole race. I don't think of coming in first, second, third, or last. I just want to enjoy the whole course. I just block everything out and just keep running.
You're gonna start the race fatigued, which is interesting and it's strange because you're normally used to starting an obstacle race fresh to kind of recover from what you endured in the pit and then to tap into that extra strength to carry you through the rest of the course. It's also an interesting question in terms of what do you try to do in terms of strategy? Do you want to go all out in the pit and then know that you'll be a little bit gassed in the race, or do you want to try and conserve yourself for the pit and do better in the race because your score at the end is a combination? So there's this mental strategy part of it too.
That nervous energy turns into determination and grit, and really what it does is it drives me throughout the race.
The men are on the course and the women are entering the pit. It's what makes CMC different than all other obstacle races. Athletes complete an AMRAP, which is as many reps as possible in 5 minutes, and then they get a pit score from that. That score then figures into the overall race results. And remember, here at CMC, the winner is determined by a combination of your time on the race course and your pit score. Coach Payne is out there putting the women through the paces.
You waiting on time to give you something. You don't have time to wait for you. Time will move on. It's time for you to recognize your truth. It flows through the veins of these beautiful ladies. Now it's your time to let it flow through you.
Our pre-race favorite is Elise Fagowski, something her main competition, Tiffany Palmer, is well aware of. Her strategy:
I just want to honestly get through the workout of the day without completely destroying my body so that I'm ready for the race. My main competition today will be Elise. She's real fast and she's incredibly strong. So CrossFit's, I think, where her wheelhouse is.
I'm looking forward to doing the pit because that's what I train every day in CrossFit, and I know if I can do well there and then just keep up with the other racers in the running element, that I should do pretty well.
Coach Payne is not playing favorites and is motivating all the competitors to get the most out of them. With the pit under their belt, the women athletes have 5 minutes to recover and get ready for the race. The starting line has all the favorites: Elise, Tiffany, as well as Lauren Casavant and Kelly Sullivan.
They did not come here to lose, they came here to win, and that's all they're thinking about, winning.
I'm definitely looking to pace off some of the other racers out there. I'm gonna try to, just run my race. So if I'm not out in the lead in the beginning, that's all just part of my plan.
When somebody passes you, it's kind of defeating, so you got to stay in your own race and just not even worry about the competition. Let them go, I'll catch them later.
Elise's strategy is working as she takes advantage of her strength on the 50-pound carry and passes Tiffany on their way to one of the larger obstacles on today's course. This mix of obstacles is what makes this course so unique, a course designed to challenge all of our athletes. And to tell us a little bit more about that, we have the course designer, Garfield Griffiths.
Diamondback, which I'm very proud to unveil here at Fort Hamilton. It is something from the deepest depths of my mind. It is a kind of a twist on what they call the Delta ladder, which is a military obstacle where you go up and over a very high A-frame. What we did is we inverted the bottom, giving us the diamond shape, so you're actually going backwards at a 60-degree angle. Here, this is the apex. This is the very tricky part. Then up. The peak, we're about 24 feet in the air. Woo! Then down, and then reversing at a 60-degree angle. You have to touch the bottom rung with your foot. There's no jumping. Very tricky and very technical. Diamondback. And of course, what would a race like this be without mud? We have a huge 20-foot by 30-foot mud pit with wire suspended this high above. There is no getting out of it. You are going down and dirty. From the mud pit, you need to clean off we have a new obstacle known as the plunge. What that is a giant container full with over 32,000 gallons of water with a lid on the top. It's pitch black in there, and you have this much space to get from A to B. Again, not for the faint of heart, but at least you get clean while you're terrified. As you exit that, then you face your fears again as you go up to about 24 feet for Ranger ropes. Step 1, straightforward. Step 2, you are going to be balanced on a beam this thick. This is the interesting part. Holding onto a wire this thick. Way too high in the air for me. As you traverse 20 feet at about 24 feet above the ground. Slide down and you're on your way again. We're good. Then you make your way to the next obstacle. That would be the CMC rig, which is a series of ropes, pipes, and all kinds of hanging items that you have to traverse in a rig style, almost like a monkey bar set in a playground, but for grown-ups. In the military, they have an obstacle called the confidence climb. It is what it says. You climb, and it's all about confidence. We call it vertigo, and there is a reason for that. You are going to be over 22 feet straight up, and then 22 feet straight down. So after you've tackled Diamondback, vertigo, and a number of fiendish contraptions that we have on the course, it's time for the home stretch. You see the giant finish line, and you think, we're done. You're not done. The first obstacle you will face is step and repeat. You bounce from side to side on angled slopes. From there, you must leap to a pipe suspended 6 feet in the air. You must then fly through the air to the next pipe, grab it without hitting the ground. Next up is spin class. It is a fireman's pole climb up to some rotating spindles that will have various chains on them. One of the things we aim for at CMC with our race is it is difficult, but it is not impossible. It is a race after all. It's not a case of people not finishing the obstacles, it's making it difficult for them, and to see who is quickest on the course, who is best in the pit, and who crosses the finish line first.
Our athletes will be heading to the Diamondback when we return.
Welcome back. We join the race as the men head to Diamondback, including one of our pre-race favorites, Patricia Ramachi, who is right on the heels of John Pozo.
With obstacle racing, you typically don't see the course beforehand. You don't see the obstacles. You don't see a course map. You can't plot it out. And that's what's so great about it, because it actually puts everyone on an equal playing field that you don't know. And so it becomes more of a mental type of a sport, and that you have to adapt to that. People will see something thrown at them, and a lot of people will freak out. And so the people that keep calm and figure out how to do it are the ones that come out on top.
Today, diamonds are not a girl's best friend. I'm here at Diamondback, which is one of the first big obstacles that they'll see on the course today. The trick with this is that it's actually inverted. So you have to go climb out, and in again to successfully complete the obstacle. On the women's side, it's also a two-woman race. Elise is first of the climb with Tiffany not far behind.
You literally will come into a dark place in every race, and you got to figure out how to get through it. You got to figure out your why. You got to figure out your reason, and just keep pushing, keep moving.
Keeping the right attitude is something that comes easy to today's youngest, in my opinion, competitor.
How do I do this?
Meet 70 years young, Tommy Hart.
Age is only a number. I got close to 99 marathons under my belt, and I got my van outside to prove it to you. I've been running now for 55 years. First marathon was when I was 21 years old. I did the Boston Marathon. I've been in almost every state. I just finished the Great Wall of China last year. 5,150 steps between going up and down. Took me 8 hours. I had to finish 10 more states to finish my 50, and 2 more continents to finish my 70. That's what my goal is to do. Well, I'm doing this race is dedicated for my wife. She just died of cancer 2 weeks ago. She lasted 2.5 months. And she says, don't stop. Go do what you have to do. I says, next race is for you. How do I do this? Well, no matter what happens, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to finish, no matter if it takes me over an hour, but I'm going to finish every bit of it. And I'm just going to take my time, do one obstacle course at a time, I have a lot of injuries all over my body. I had 6 knee operations with 2 knee replacements. I had a hernia done. I got a stent in my heart since '07. I found out how to clog artery. I had a deviated septic, and I just had 2 cataracts removed. What is an old guy doing in this race? He's supposed to be showing me sitting down watching TV on a lounge chair. That's not me. I can't sit down all day long. Run with the old guy. Run with the old man. Don't quit. Just keep going. You just got to go out, get it done, get it over, and go home.
While Tommy is trying to complete his race card, 67-year-old Donna Voorhees-Waltz is competing in her first OCR.
I'm a little bit of a type A personality, so that makes me want to be a competitor. The reason I did this OCR is because partly peer pressure from the people that I work out with every day, and everybody always is competing just for something different, because I haven't really done anything like this before, especially with the distance and that many obstacles. My strength is I won't give up, I'll try. My weakness is age itself. I know that I can't compete as I did when I was younger, but I try to do the best I can.
Of course, we can't let the grown-ups have all the fun. Today's CMC challenge also has a kids course where children of all ages get to participate.
The kids were great. We really got a kick out of how the parents, enjoy seeing their children be active. They're the future of the sport. They're the future of the world we live in.
This is like their movement. Kids like to move, they like to play. And really, if you think about it, obstacle course racing is one big playground.
I'm over. When we come back, we'll meet 4-year-old Mia and her parents, who are making today a family affair.
To the CMC, Civilian Military Combine.
Welcome back to today's CMC Hybrid Obstacle Challenge. The competitors today ranges from weekend warriors to serious pro athletes. But no matter how you start the course, it seems somewhere along the line that the competitive nature within you just kicks in.
You are out on the race course and you're there with a competitor, you're battling back and forth. You kind of read them. You can tell by their breathing. You can tell by how quickly they're transitioning from a run to an obstacle back to running again. And so I think in my mind, I always like to hunt people down and to pick them off one by one.
Woo! The halfway point in this race marks a trilogy of obstacles designed to challenge even the most competitive of athletes. And it wouldn't be an obstacle race unless we didn't have some mud. So I'm here at the mud pit where competitors are gonna have to crawl under these wires and through the mud.
People going in on the deeper water side, they have more clearance to get under there, and it's actually, you're not fighting the ground as much. It's easier to crawl through the water than it is to crawl through mud. So I know people don't like to get dirty, but then again, I'm not quite sure why they're out here if they don't want to get dirty. So have you ever tried to run when you're completely soaking wet and covered in mud? It's really hard, and it's actually very taxing, and people underestimate that. And you're suddenly a few pounds heavier, your shoes are wet, and everything is like sticking to you. So running is actually that much more tiring.
And I don't like getting dirty. So this is a strange event to do for not getting dirty. But
here's my thing, is you don't even give yourself a choice. You're just doing it. And you go in there and you're like, that doesn't look fun right now, but I'm diving in head first. The hardest part is getting in.
Certainly jumping in with both feet is family man Jeff Skoronsky. He and his wife Alyssa are introducing their 4-year-old daughter Mia to CMC.
I was 40 years old, and my wife and I had a brand new baby girl, and I was in probably the worst shape of my life, over 300 pounds. I thought I was healthy. I worked out, but I was eating poorly. I wasn't working out the right way, and I didn't have anything to really work out for.
There was a race in Palmerton, Pennsylvania, and Jeff asked if I wanted to do it, and we did it, and it was 4 miles. I think it took us like 5.5 hours to finish it. It was crazy. After we were done, we're like, we're never doing that again, and ended up doing probably over 100 races since then.
My wife, Elisa's competing, and my youngest daughter, Mia, is doing her first CMC today. She's 4 years old.
What race are you going to?
CMC race.
Yeah, it's your first one.
Yeah, I love races.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like watching other people race?
Yeah, and also you, Daddy, and also Mommy.
So when our daughter was born, I think it was a turning point for him. Being in excess of 300 pounds, I think he thought that, you know, he wanted to be around to see her walk down the aisle one day.
I'm right here. I'm chasing you.
The biggest motivation for me to compete is my children. Sometimes I'm out on a race and I'm feeling like I want to quit, and I don't want to set that example for my children.
Both of our older children are distance runners and athletes, so we thought might as well start her early.
Almost done. See your big jump off like you like to do. Good job.
I'm here to have fun, to be a good example to my daughters, to be a better husband, father, and just overall human being.
Like a big wet sandbox, the mud crawl brings out the kid in all of us. And playtime continues with a refreshing cool down in our dunk tank.
We get you dirty and then we get you clean. So your hands are wet, you've got obstacles coming up that require grip strength. And so it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, it's just kind of annoying almost. You're like, why are they doing this to me?
Good thing I drove my parents' car. I see Ryan, our course reporter, isn't shying away from any dirty work.
Man, we just hit the mud. Now we got a bath coming up.
They're also adding in this fear factor in that there are a lot of people that are claustrophobic, or a lot of people that don't like being in enclosed spaces.
A dumpster full of water.
And now you have to be in an enclosed space and you're in water and it's dark. And so there adds this mental, you can't see anything in there. So it's just, they're testing you not just physically, but mentally.
That was refreshing to get all that mud off.
And it's a successful high school reunion for Tara Skinner.
She went to Fort Hamilton High, and like Jeff, OCR has helped keep her fit.
I went to high school here at Fort Hamilton High School. I was not athletic at all. I was very girly, wouldn't want to get dirty at all. I started out in high school about 180 pounds. And then between freshman and sophomore year, I lost 40 pounds all on my own. And when I went back, people actually thought I was a new kid in the school because they didn't recognize me. Over 10 years ago, I weighed almost 300 pounds, and it was hard for me even to walk up a flight of stairs. So the fact that I can do any of this now amazes me, and I do it for me. I usually race alone because I'm racing just for me, and it's all about me.
When the tough get going, the going get tough.
When we return. Welcome back to today's CMC Hybrid Obstacle Challenge. Our obstacle course leader is pushing himself to attack the CMC rig. Now remember, the race counts for only 50% of your score. The pit is the other half. So even though he's leading the obstacle portion, he may not be the overall winner.
He's in a place right now that he has to push with every ounce of strength that he has. You're not winning until the race is over. You're still running, you're still pushing, you're still working. And you have to remember, there's someone right behind you that's closing in.
So every race is different. I think that's the beauty of this. You find yourself really struggling at points, and you really have to dig down deep. But then 5 minutes later, you're going to be at the top of the world. Going back and forth sometimes between elation and exhaustion, and you cross that finish line, you've just left it all out there.
This is not going to be easy. This is going to be work. This is going to be a job. You have to look at it as you're trying to live. You're trying to work as hard as you can. Utilize the obstacles like you utilize the obstacles in life.
People do this for all types of reasons, but I think what's so great about these races is you just feel alive. You're not just running, you're jumping, you're crawling. There's something very primal about all of these movements. You're engaging every aspect of your body. And at the end, you're beaten, you're battered, and you're bruised, and you feel fantastic, and you feel like you've achieved something.
No stranger to achievement is Base Commander Colonel Peter Sicoli, who feels the military aspect of the course might give him a home field advantage.
What they're doing in terms of the CrossFit and the physical fitness levels is I think very similar to what you would expect from an elite unit in the Army in terms of the level of fitness. We haven't spent much time strategizing, but I can tell you that it's going to be slow and steady, be deliberate, approach each obstacle to try to figure out the smartest way to overcome that obstacle, and not necessarily try to race and rush through it and make mistakes, because energy is something that you don't want to waste when you're doing something like this, so smooth and fast.
Today's race benefits the Morale, Welfare, and Recreation program at Fort Hamilton, a program that provides a variety of community, soldier, and family support programs, activities, and services. But it's not today's only military connection.
The Tough Team, which stands for Taking Up Fitness, is by far one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. What makes this so uplifting is to know that these guys are willing to step up to the challenge and understand that they still have so much to offer.
I was in the Marine Corps for 10 years. I did one tour in Iraq and Al-Ramadi.
After losing my leg, fitness was the most important part of my rehab. That kind of just made me want to be out here and to do the obstacle course.
A lot of wounded warriors come back from the war and they don't have a place to go. So we're here to encourage people to get back into fitness, because that is what truly mimics what we face when we're in the military, being strong mentally and physically.
I have to think about, do I need to pop my leg off for this, to do a single leg box jump, or do I need my other prosthetic legs to lift the heavier weights?
Yellow Ribbon Fun Tough encourages veterans to get back into fitness.
To live a better life.
I have traumatic brain injury, and I also have PTSD. Some days you just feel really great, and then other days you just feel like, man, I'm barely hanging on. My hope is that we use these events to reach out to those veterans. They feel like they're at the end of their rope. Grab hold of them and say, you know what, you can do anything you put your mind to.
It's definitely a great way to kind of show everyone this is a very patriotic and very supportive community overall.
When you try something physically, you can walk away and say, okay, I got a physical burn out of it, but I want something that challenges me mentally, physically, and causes me to be a teammate or an encourager to those around me, and that's why I chose this.
Today will be my first time meeting a guy, and I never trained with him or competed with him before, but I know for a fact that we're going to have a great chemistry just because we all have military backgrounds and we already have that connection right there.
Finish line, baby!
When we come back, we'll unmask the reason why some people are running for more than themselves.
Welcome to the CMC Civilian Military Combat.
When I see the United States flag, to me it means pride. Pride in the country, pride in ourselves, pride in my fellow brothers and my fellow sisters I've served.
Welcome back. Men's obstacle leader Patricio Ramachi has reached vertigo and still has a commanding lead.
I try not to look back. I make pretend that they're on my heels, so I just got to keep going. And if I look back, that's a second loss. And in these races, you can't afford a second.
When I race, I'm always racing myself. My biggest competition is always myself. And so I will walk off that course happy if I left everything out there. If I ran a clean race, if I know that I dug down deep, then if somebody beat me, fine. But I never want to beat myself. There are many different reasons why somebody runs. Everyone, of course, looks inward as to why they came to compete in today's race.
I'm running to raise money for Team Fox today, which is the grassroots fundraising organization of the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. We have 14 team members helping me to raise money for Parkinson's, which I was diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's earlier this spring. The race today should be symbolic for what we're going through and what my team is racing for. So it's been a tremendous lift for me. Joining me are friends from college, friends from home where I grew up outside of Seattle, Washington. We actually started out with a goal of raising $15,000. Early on, had a sponsor step in and say, I will match all the funds you can raise to get up to $100,000. Coming into today, we raised $110,000 without that match, so we're at $160 right now, which is absolutely mind-blowing. We're running as a group, we're running as a team. We're gonna cheer everybody on and try to pick everybody up, keep our spirits high. To have all these guys sign up from all walks of my life, I find it to be incredibly supportive, so I think that's really gonna carry me out there on the course today.
Woo! With more on that, let's go to Ryan, who is with Team Fox out on the course.
Hoorah! Ready to tackle some more of these obstacles?
Yeah.
Got it. Nice. Whoa! Check out these guys going up over this. They're flying. They're all running for Parkinson's. They're climbing this like it's nothing. Check these guys out. Good job, guys. Another cool obstacle here at the Civilian Military Combine. We got a couple more to go, but we're mostly through the course. As you can see, these guys are flying and killing it.
So you might be wondering why this guy is wearing a mask out there. He's actually running to raise awareness for cystic fibrosis.
Every time I see an obstacle, I just look at it as I have to run it over. It just motivates you more because you have to defeat it. I've been called The Rock, Captain Intensity. I've been called No Neck. I've been called Bane. This is my Bane mask. I'm wearing this the entire course. We run with the Bane mask for people who have cystic fibrosis, who have trouble breathing. So if you're running with a mask like this, it's very hard to breathe. And my goal is to run the entire obstacle course and do every obstacle with this mask on. Wearing this mask definitely will make it harder to breathe. At a minimum, I train 4 days a week. Sometimes I train 6 days a week. I do very insane workouts. Like I do push-ups and abs in a sauna every day. I run at a minimum of 6 miles a week to sometimes 12 miles a week. I swim with bricks, like 10-pound bricks like we did in Special Forces, keep them out of the water. So I do a lot of very intense training. I love doing physical obstacle courses. It challenges you and it keeps you in shape. It's a complete motivational rush. Football, of course, it's a contact sport, but in reality, it's you throw the ball, you tackle, you roll the ball, you tackle, you run, you pass. This is something different. This challenges your body from moving parts to lifting weights to lifting your own body. In the military, we have a saying, if you don't mind, it don't matter. If you're focused on defeating every obstacle in your way, you will win. But if you don't have the mental part behind it, driving the muscles to do it, you're going to fail.
Welcome back to the CMC Hybrid Obstacle Challenge.
Patricio Ramachi took the lead early and hasn't looked back. Remember, the winner of this race doesn't necessarily win the overall. It's a combination of 50% pit and 50% race.
Our pre-race favorite is Alex Nicholas, and he is in battle with Johan Katja, currently in 6th and 7th position.
On the women's side, Elise Fagowski and Tiffany Palmer are still battling neck and neck.
Already feeling like he has won just by competing is 36-year-old teacher Kevin Wilkinson.
I'm a high school teacher in New York City. I've been teaching for 15 years. In 2008, I was diagnosed with clinical depression. I was eating poorly. I was definitely drinking more than I should have, something that didn't feel right, so I started working out. Fitness and just eating healthier definitely affected me for the better. Ever since I started doing this, not only do I feel better physically and appearance-wise, but just mentally I feel much better about myself and who I am. It's almost like I found another purpose. And the thing I notice about these obstacle courses, it's an automatic camaraderie. You know, people that you've never seen before, never spoke to before, and all of a sudden they become your best friend for those few minutes or for those couple of hours. So along with the endorphins, it's just physically helping somebody. And that's something that I've always liked doing, just helping people. I guess what I'd like to do eventually is just to promote this among African Americans or any people of color. There's such a high level of diabetes and hypertension, and it's really about educating people like me that you can get better, whether it's a mental illness or whether it's a physical illness. You know, just to show that you too can do it, and maybe it will save lives along the way.
While Kevin still has a few obstacles on the way to the finish line, our race leader, Patricio, is on the final obstacles. Now his pit score was calculated and it came in low at 64 points, which means that he was in 34th place to start the race. So he needs to finish well ahead of the pack to be the overall leader.
Across the finish line. CMC Ford Hamilton winner.
Patricio Ramachi finishes first on the obstacle course in a blazing time of 29:45. But now he must wait to see if he's the overall winner.
To do the whole obstacle race and finish and then still not know where you're positioned at. It's pretty nerve-wracking and it's pretty exciting at the same time, which is pretty cool because it allows the CrossFitter versus the racer to put it in the mix and see where they all stack up.
I'm not worried about anybody. I just kept on going. Once they say go, I'm in the zone. I just ignore everybody and just keep going, just in my own world. Awesome race.
Patricio Ramachi may have won the obstacle course, but Alex Nicholas commanded the pit with a monster score of 114 points.
Went very well. I really pushed it to the max in the pit. I wanted to come out in first place coming out of that pit. You know, I wanted to get my burpees, my push press, and my lunges done as fast as possible, use every second of that 5 minutes to get as many reps as possible. I was a lot more tired than I thought I was gonna be coming out of there. My legs felt like 1,000-pound weights. Did my best to push right from the start. Got passed by a lot of people and made up some ground during the 3-mile race. So excited how it went. I don't think I came in much behind the leader. I'm hoping a 60-second variance. I think I got a good chance right now.
Finishing with a solid 6th in the obstacle race, his scores combined to make him the overall winner. When we come back, the women go vertical. With the men's race complete, we turn to the women. It's been a one-horse race as Elise Fagowski passed Tiffany Palmer and is running away with it. Combined with her impressive hit score, she is our overall winner.
A lot of the grip obstacles were a little bit tough. You had some water obstacles right before them earlier on, made your hands a little bit wet, which is a little bit harder to grip. So that was a factor. And then the heavier carries were definitely a factor. I do a lot of CrossFit, so that worked out in my favor. And I was able to get it on my shoulders and just keep moving with it.
Tiffany Palmer finishes the obstacle race in second place and receives a well-earned hug from a hard-fought battle.
About mile 2, I hit a wall when I had to carry the 75-pound dummy. That was really tough. That was probably the worst for me. That's when she caught me and passed me.
The joy of competing was most evident today here at Fort Hamilton. There are a few struggles and a bump or two along the way, but the overall spirit and feeling of achievement when you complete the course is priceless.
Today's Civilian Military Combine has been nothing short of amazing. We've seen competitors from all different walks of life with all different fitness abilities out there together battling it out. Then you see people that are out there with great victories, overcoming mental disabilities, overcoming physical disabilities, and showing so much heart. For everyone who's taken on this challenge today, they have to walk away feeling fantastic, that they've come away, that they've completed this, and that they're that much stronger for it. So Christopher Monza finishes in 40 minutes, 35 seconds. He completed all of the obstacles and finished with the 5th fastest time in his age group.
I'm all about business, just like Coach Payne said.
And our teacher, Kevin Wilkinson, comes in finishing in 51:13.
I feel like I'm gonna die. All my body hurts. And I can't wait to do it next year. This is amazing.
How you feeling? Awesome. Yeah? Took about 2 miles before my quads felt okay. Oh, no. That's it. Charlie, not finished. You got the finish line coming up. All right, we ready for this? I'm ready for this.
And Jeff Skoronsky, who made this a family affair with his 4-year-old daughter and his wife, made this a successful day, with everyone finishing and his daughter completing her first race. And the base is proud of its garrison commander, who finishes in 56:03. He completes all the obstacles and has the 2nd fastest time in his age group.
It was challenging, but absolutely fun, and had a great time, some good camaraderie. It was great to mix with both the real competitors out there, military teams, and it was just an awesome experience. I loved it.
And look at Tommy go. He may be the oldest guy out on this course, but you would not know by the way that he's coming down this finisher chute. He finishes the course in 1:11:40 and has the fastest time in his age group.
Age is not an issue. If you want to say you're old, you're old. I know I beat a lot of guys. I think I did an hour and 11 minutes for myself, for my time. And a lot of guys went up there, shook my hand. I don't know how you did it, but I did it.
Pretty good. Yeah? Oh, yeah. 2 mile 3. Yep, not bad. Body feels good. Oh, you're ready for the finish line, huh? Yeah.
For all those competitors we met along the way, the victory is in completing the course and earning your CMC medal.
Nice finish, guys. Awesome.
And for providing us with on-course reports, Ryan has certainly earned his medal.
We just finished a Civilian Military Combine. Tough race. We had the pit, we had the course, we had a lot of obstacles, but at the end of the day, anybody can do this race. The best part is, there's a lot of people along the way to push it.
Yeah, the obstacles,
best obstacles ever, man.
They were innovative. You saw 2 rigs up there, you saw some diamond bags.
So you burn out? Oh,
yeah.
There you go. You guys have fun?
Everything was fun about this race.
And from Brooklyn, New York, here at the Civilian Military Combine, the first person view. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you soon.
For CMC, I'm Amelia Boone.
I'm Coach Payne, telling you to conduct your business.
See you next time.
Civilian Military